Welcome to In Your Element podcast, where we dive into stories of those thriving in their element. From entrepreneurs, influencers, to chefs, musicians, and the community leaders, we explore their journeys, struggles, and successes. I'm Randall Pink with Natalie Kaufman, and today we're bringing you another incredible conversation with Cincinnati's mom and dad, Jon Jon and Toria Cannon.
Back up in my yellow. I get my grind on and my mind strong, I'm working. I clock in when the night's long, so much time gone, but it's worth it. I'm locked in, keep the lights on, got my mind on my purpose. It's working, I flourish, I earned it. Can't tell me I don't deserve it, yeah.
Today's episode is sponsored by Torque Motor Suites, a luxury motor suites community for enthusiasts and collectors. Welcome back. This is In Your Element podcast. I'm Randall Pink.
I'm Natalie Kaufman.
And today we have
Toria and Jon Jon.
I know you go first
Like,
always.
do you want to be Jon Jon?
I mean, our daughter calls me Jon Jon, so yeah.
Do you always go by Jon Jon?
It just depends.
No, my daughter introduced me to the neighbor kids as Jon Jon. So
and the other day,
locked.
we were walking and she's like, "Where's John?" And I'm like, "I honestly don't know."
Yeah, we were like, "Who are you?"
I don't know.
Okay.
She was on stage last week, I do believe, and when she got on the mic, she's like, "My daddy's Jon Jon."
She's
I thought it was
so
the cutest
proud.
thing. Yeah.
She's so proud.
I've got to see those flex moments from my daughter, and it's great. So, all right, my fruits of the labor are coming to fruition. So.
And my dad calls him Jon Jon.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just rolls off your tongue, too.
It does.
Everybody in my family calls you Jon Jon. That's how we all know you. Jon Jon.
And our neighbor calls, you're in his phone as Jon Jon, but it's misspelled. It's Jahan. And he's never corrected it because he's technically a Jonathan. There's no H.
Right.
So-
That's so funny.
So where did the Jon Jon come from?
That was from, now my coworker, when Tori was back in radio, back at our former home, a woman named Katie Walters that yelled it down the hallway one day. I'm serious. That was it. Just like I was an intern / part-time, and she, Jon Jon, and then,
And then he tried to change it to just John.
No, I didn't. That was Drew Lachey. So when I was filling in for Jeff and Jen on Q, for like a week. It was around Christmas time. Drew came in to help me fill in, and he got on the air and he goes, when are you going to grow up and it's just be just John? And
so then it was literally just John, J-U-S-T.
That was it, not
together.
John. It was just John. And so I'm not kidding you. There were moms that emailed that were upset because their daughters were, or their kids were upset. Like, where did Jon Jon go? I'm like, this is really a thing?
Yeah,
they
thought it was a different person.
Yeah, like it was a totally different brand.
That's funny.
You can be honest, it's not funny.
No, it is funny.
It is.
Because artists.
It is, as you don't laugh.
No.
What does Kim Kardashian do? That is so funny. And she's straight.
Randy's like, I'm like,
No.
thanks, man.
No.
You keep reading the script, all right?
No, because honestly, from an artist standpoint, like Little John, Little Wayne, that when they drop the little, it's like they're just John or Wayne.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right.
And so
Yeah, right.
It's like
You gotta.
It's an identity crisis
it is.
a little bit.
Oh, I've been
it's
there.
like, who's Wayne?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Who's Wayne?
so many
Who
identities.
is Wayne?
Okay, Cincinnati's mom and dad. Welcome to In Your Element podcast. Okay, so for those who may not know you, will you kind of just introduce yourself, the line of work you do?
Do you
Tori,
want to
you go-
start? You want me to start?
Tori, you go first.
Well, we met in radio. He and I both worked in radio. We worked for a local. I worked for. There was like a hub. There was 4 stations. I worked for all 4 of them. He was just at the one, but they were owned by Umbrella Effect. So I used to do traffic there. Did that for 10 years. Quit. Now I was Toria with traffic. Now I'm just Toria with tots. I shouldn't say just because this job is the hardest job I've ever done. Sometimes regrets.
I don't know how she does it.
Sometimes I'm like, I would love to go to work. It's like I quit like a 40-hour week job to work
100 hours.
100 hours
Yeah.
a week. We were up at 2 a.m. last night. and
Nonstop.
Yeah. But that's what I'm doing right now, and I dabble in content creating on my
She doesn't
Instagram.
dabble, guys. She has so many people reaching out to her, so many companies.
You
I'm about to
are-
name drop them.
That is
I will.
very...
No.
I wouldn't say so many. You can name
I'm about to
two.
name drop them. That's
You
it.
can name two. Okay.
It's just like
Let's
she's doing
not
what
act
I
like
do to myself, and I was like, give
so
yourself more
many.
credit now. Like everywhere I go, it's like, hey, it's awesome you're here. Where's your wife? Where's
Yeah, he is
can
Toria with
she shoot
Traffic's
some
wife.
content? Can she
Her
can she
husband.
do the content, please?
Well, we just did. We had like something that'll go live soon enough, but it was me that did it and edited it and did the voiceover for it. But he's doing other things, so I'm like, I can take that on, So I don't mind doing it.
Plus, it's a difference of style too. By the way, when we create content, like mine,
Very
I
much so.
I do the goofy whatever costumes,
Yeah.
music
Yeah.
behind it.
And
Tori's
we
like,
have different sense of humor. So he'll send me
You
something
do.
and he'll be like, do you like this? And, the latest one. It was like about taxes. And I was like, I've never filed a tax in my life. Like,
Yeah,
my
she,
dad
like-
does that. Then he does it now. I'm like, I don't get it. And he's like, never mind.
that's where I'm like, well, I don't even know why I'm using you as my gauge.
I know. Don't ask
I don't even know
me.
why.
I'm like, call Randy. Oh, yeah, but that's just a little bit about me.
Sorry, that was I deviated there. Yeah, we met at our former home radio station, and I was there 5-6 years before she was, and started off nights on a radio station. Actually started promotions, as I mentioned earlier, jumped to nights, then got afternoons, then has just followed this path, sat out a year and a half of radio, got back into it, and I DJ and host stuff on the sides. We're content creators, influencers. I don't know what it's like. It's all just a mesh of like
There is a name to it now, though, content creating, because when we worked at our, where we initially met, that I would do that stuff, like create stuff online, and there was really no name for it. It was just like, oh, they want a social media presence. They want a social media
Do that thing you do.
endorser or whatever. So
yeah.
you would make a video, and looking back at what I used to do versus now.
well, even before videos, that's why I like to call radio people the OG influencers.
I
Yeah,
agree with
yeah,
that.
because that's where, I mean, TV sort of, but they were journalists.
They're not allowed to dabble.
Right, exactly. Journalists, you can't do. You have to stay in these bumpers of facts and not representing any companies or anything like that. So radio people, we were always doing this stuff.
Selling my soul.
Yes, give me all the food, please, for free, if you don't mind. So that's why I think it's funny that when you see this content creation thing where we've gone and influencers and all that stuff, I'm like, we've been doing this forever. It was just the difference was for a while there was no video involved. It was just on the
And
air.
then there were videos, and it was too long. I'm like, now it's companies are like, we need it to be 20 seconds. I'm like, perfect.
It's real short content nowadays for some reason, and I think our attention span only lasts 3 to 15 seconds, if
He
that.
says that to me.
Scroll.
Yeah.
Scroll.
He'll show me a video, and I'm like, can you put it on ×3 because this is going too slow? And he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Tori, you consume stuff so quick.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
I feel like also with having the background in the radio and being able to do a video, now it's like the people behind the voice. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Now all of a sudden they get to see you guys doing your thing.
Yeah.
Right. That's I think when they say, "Oh, you have a voice for radio," and that doesn't apply anymore.
No.
There's cameras on in our face just as much, if not more. I think because of the endorsement factor that I just mentioned. Because now we're having to create this. I always say my job now at iHeart has become, don't forget to do your radio show today. It's like, hey, do these reels, do this, do that, and luckily we like doing it. Luckily,
Yeah,
it's,
I do enjoy doing it.
and I say I continue to do that because I'm not kidding you. It's awesome that you're part of it, John. Is what's Toria doing? Can she can she throw in on the snacks in the video or whatever
The one time we had one, this was last year, I had sent something out, and it was like a paid one for him and I, and they were like, can you make sure John's in the video? Because I didn't put him in it. I was like, oh, you really wanted him in there. Okay, yeah, I can do that.
I do remember that.
That's funny. So then why radio? How did you guys get into radio?
I'll make this as short
Yours
and sweet
was
as I
by
can.
accident.
I've shared this before. The same woman that called me Jon Jon saw me at a movie theater at AMC Newport on the Levee when I was in college coming back from school, and I'd get in front of movie theaters to pack them in. It was a promo screening for Q102, and got on that mic and said, something. I tried to be funny and ad lib, and she came down after the fact and said, "You ever thought about working in radio?" And I said, "That's literally what I want to do, is get into radio." So that's where I got the promotions job, pass out stickers, put up tents, and then eventually got on the mic. So mine was I knew I wanted to do that. It was just a matter of trying to find.
How to get there?
Yep, and that's it. And caught sort of by accident.
Yeah, which is super nice because his was $40,000 less than mine was. I went to college and got a degree for that, and then I became the receptionist and then the backup traffic reporter. So then that's how I got in there.
Working your way up.
Yeah. Yeah. Which they were glad I had a degree, but
Yeah.
I was just like, dang, if I could have saved that money.
Right.
Right.
Should have went to the movie theater.
Should have went to
Listen,
the movie theater. Yes.
You did it. I'm sorry, you did it wrong.
Yeah.
I popped popcorn
know.
and I ate and watched a bunch of movies for free.
Yeah.
Went to
I
the
know,
movie
that's
theater.
So nice.
So you went to college for
Electronic media and broadcasting with a minor in journalism.
Okay. So then you could have done a couple of different things, but
Yeah.
was radio always your center of focus?
When I was in college, I was working promotions at B105, passing out stickers, popping up tents. But I was also working part-time at Local 12, running the cameras, the teleprompter and stuff. And I just knew news was not it for me. I didn't want to be that person like knocking on someone's door who just lost their home to a house fire. I was like, that's not me. I'm too goofy, silly. And then, got into the door with radio and
I think it's kind of funny because it's like they said that, hey, have you ever thought about doing radio? But then your starting point is like passing out.
Oh,
bump,
you have
bumper
to.
stickers.
Well,
Bumper stickers.
they call it earning your stripes or paying your dues, however you want to say it. What's interesting now is it's funny you bring that up. That doesn't apply anymore.
No.
No, there's nobody truly trying to do that. I'm generalizing, but I think now it's everyone's trying to become an influencer overnight. Hit it big,
I
go
agree,
viral.
yeah.
It
and
doesn't
they
matter.
don't.
Yeah, it doesn't. There is, yeah.
It's not like you have to go through the trenches first to hopefully get that job on the air. No, but that's just how things have changed. You got to roll with it. I mean, there are influencers now that come on my show all the time that have surpassed like tenfold followings that I have somewhat built over the years by, I don't know, like doing it over a matter of months. And so that's where you just have to adapt and, hey, let's collab. Let's come together. It's cool. You use this to gain a following. I started early on in a different way with a microphone, but yeah, everyone's influencers in their own way, right?
Yeah. So another question on that, or going back to the Jon Jon name. So you got Jon Jon and Friends. How did that whole show come about?
That's kind of a perfect connection there because that's what it was. When we were back at our former radio station, I had said something about wanting to do a show like this, and it just didn't come together there. So I waited, got to iHeart, and I just thought with Cincinnati, there's no reason to not. It's very much like what you guys are doing. We have a podcast that we sit down and we get to catch up with people, and you learn their story. Why not put that on the radio? Why not a condensed form? Obviously, 2-3 minutes. You guys have both. Well, Randy, we got to make sure to get you on a mic, but Nat's been on with me and sees how the process.
Danny
goes.
Nat
Nat
at the time.
It moves, but on the format that it is, I've now had it's over 2,000 people on my show in 3 years.
Wow, that's impressive.
Like 4 and 5 people a day.
Just
Sometimes.
I think it was honestly grown organically too, because I don't think that was your initial plan, and then it just became.
You're right.
Just became something.
And friends. I knew I wanted consistent guests, consistent friends on the air.
Because he didn't want to ever be solo. It's a lot to be solo on the air. It's a lot.
Well, originally, her and I talked about doing a show, and then it progressed, and exactly whatever face she just made, I know. It was in the stars for it to not
As
happen.
my husband, I need him just to be my husband.
Exactly. And
Not
I think
my coworker.
we teased the idea for a while there, and I think that just glad to, I think it went the right direction with like me focusing on my stuff, and then she has hers. I mean, you have it's been good how it's built out.
Yeah, it has been nice not working in the scent.
Oh my gosh, with our kids at home, I can't imagine like the blurred lines between like us. We would be.
Could you imagine
Yeah.
coming off a night of no sleep and then having to go work with them? Like,
Yeah, go and I love my husband. This is great, and it's 74 degrees in Cincinnati right now.
our therapist would see us twice a week.
Oh,
So, I know you guys very well, obviously.
nanny nat.
Yeah, talk about that actually real quick. Yeah.
So, I was Jon and Toria's nanny for about 3 years, maybe a little more.
Probably up until you got like this job.
Up until I got this full-time
until
job.
Element took you
Yeah,
away.
sorry
Until-
about that.
I know.
But we do appreciate
I know.
her here.
We do live in the same neighborhood. I'm still very close with them. I go over like a couple times a week. I still watch the girls.
Still naps on my couch.
Yep, always. But I know you guys. We know you on a deeper level. We want people listening to know you. What's home life you have? What are, how old are the girls? Kind of talk about your day in the life.
Yeah.
Go for it, Tori.
Elle's about to be 4 in May. She's got a worm-themed birthday party coming up.
I got worms.
I beg your pardon?
That's what we're going to call it.
Is that hard to find things for?
What,
Etsy's
worms?
good.
Worms?
I-
Easy,
I
no
just-
front
I-
yard, man.
I found a cake person that'll make a worm cake for us. We got her a shirt that says like just a girl who loves worms. I'm gonna try to
Oh my
find like
gosh.
bug decorations. I don't know. It'll be fun.
That's going to be awesome.
I haven't really dove into it, but I need to because
So she appreciates all the rain that we've been having. then.
Oh yeah. She's got her shovels. Her shovels are ready. She's got her little bucket to put her worms on. Mommy, it's a baby worm and this is a daddy worm. And I'm like, fantastic.
Toria,
she's like-
so I was at your all's house the other day and just eating lunch, and just like another Wednesday, and I see you have like a little worm farm, right? And it's sitting in the living room, like in a cage. And I said, Toria, does she get these worms out and play with it?
All the time.
And she goes, she does not let go of it.
No.
She doesn't.
She'll drop them and then I'll just sweep them up crusty like 3 days later.
No,
I'm
she rips
like-
them in half and just is like,
she's like, oh, 2
oh
worms.
no, this worm died.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, you literally
Yeah.
just tore its soul in half, and then and then proceeds to what, Tori?
She's so nonchalant.
No, what'd she do after?
Oh, sucks her thumb.
Oh yeah,
I'm like,
let it,
you know
like,
what?
And over and over and over again. And we're like, all right.
It is what it is
Alright.
what it is, you know?
That is
I'm
so
like,
Being a
funny.
kid though, it's
Yeah.
typical 4-year-old.
That's awesome, though.
And she has the best personality. I mean, Elle
She
has,
does.
I mean,
She does.
right now she's dangerous because 1 minute she is sweet and the next minute she is salty.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then you have Letty. You guys both
And then we've
have
got
Le-
Letty, who only has 1 volume and it's loud.
She's our wrecking ball.
She's
It's
a
always Dave.
wrecking ball. She's like always screaming, even when she's happy. I'm like, girl, reel it in. Although she has no idea what I'm saying, but yeah, she's a hoot. She's gonna be Little Miss personality. Where Elle is like more serious. Letty is like, I don't care. I'll fall down the steps and then get back up and just
Right.
keep doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
It is that stereotypical when they talk about your first, second, third, the difference in their personalities, where the second is carefree, they could just watch literally everything the first did and go, no problem, cool.
Yeah.
Where the first is, Elle's cautious. She's just like, I don't know, I don't want to do that. And Letty's already jumped in front of her and did it. Yeah.
So, day in the life. What does it look like? You get up in the morning, Monday through Friday.
This is a perfect day to ask that, Nat, as we got up in the middle of the night last
Oh
night.
yeah, Letty's got this poor girl, man. She can't catch a break. We've tried to like create good sleeping habits for her, but she's like either sick or teething. Now she's got her bottom molars coming in. I'm like, so anyway, she woke up at like 2 a.m, then 5:45 for the day, and I told John, I was like, well, I'm just gonna get up, go to the gym. So we've like lately been prioritizing our health, which is probably something we should have done our entire lives. But
well, as I'm drinking Coke or Diet Coke over here,
it's
but that's like,
hard. Like when you have kids, and a lot of people are like, you're the one who has to do it. Correct. But when you have kids that are like up throughout the night and you're just tired, it does slip away from you. So we've really gotten back into the habit of doing it. So I go in the mornings at like 6 a.m. He goes in the evenings when he.
like 9 or
we
10
get-
o'clock at night
yeah, once
is
we
when
get
I'm
the
going
girls
to
down.
the gym. But it's like, I thought I was going to hate that, but it is when we get, I know how badly she needs it in the morning to even function and make it through that day with those girls. And
Well, it's funny. I used to feel guilty because in the morning I kind of clock out where I like shut the bathroom door. I do help with the girls, but then when I'm like getting ready, I'm like, this is my time because I'm with him all day. So I'm like, okay, you're clocked in. And so he has all his time with them in the morning so I can get myself ready. And then he leaves and then just all hell breaks loose. And he comes home and the house is like a wreck.
I'm really interested to see this conversation, truth, years down the line, because of seeing where we're at in the pocket with our kids. Because you're asking us about our home life. We hear from parents all the time about like, oh, it gets better and they get older and all this stuff. And so, it is bananas right now.
Bananas.
It's
I came home one day with the sitter, and there was sand, kinetic sand everywhere, all over the floors. Elle when I left, she was painting, so that was all over one part of the island. On the other part of the island, the sitter, who we absolutely love and adore, had brought them Easter cookies to decorate. So that was there, and I was just like, I know someday that those messes will be gone, and I'll be like,
yes, exactly.
I miss it. But right now, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because days before that, it was glitter everywhere. Vials of glitter that were just...
Looks like you guys had so much fun today.
Yeah. So we try to, like, Elle, she's a craft girl. She loves to do crafts. So when we try to plan a morning craft, today our craft is going to be dyeing eggs when Letty's asleep. And then like yesterday, we planted a bunch of flowers. So that was fun. But
our lives are really compelling right now. I don't know.
You planting the flowers, Elle digging for worms.
Oh, well, this was not. I'm not a green thumb, so this was just like pre-planted in a little container. And then she got into I just dumped the rest of the dirt in a pile, and she poured water on it and made mud. So she is she likes to be outside in the element.
In the element.
She's in the element.
Nice.
She's in her element. But yeah, basically I count down the hours until John comes home.
Which I'm sure is
last
very
night
typical.
it was
It's like
10:30.
Oh, and I do those events and stuff. I had an event last night for a local company, and so yeah, I didn't get home until 11 o'clock at night. And so
it cracks
2-3
me
nights
up
out the
too,
week, I'll do that.
When he works late like that, he'll like FaceTime me and it'll be like 7:30, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm taking a bath." And he goes, "Both the girls are down." I'm like, "When I'm by myself, I run a tight ship." I'm like, everybody's in bed.
Well, in my defense, I rarely get to see them,
Yeah.
so I'll see them for 2-3 hours in
And
the morning.
he's a
So they stay up a
sucker.
little bit later, and I want to see them and hang out.
He's such a
and
sucker.
Catch
which
this time, yeah.
I feel like it's just a typical girl dad, just wrapped around their finger.
Yeah, I have this idea, by the way, though, as she mentioned earlier, where if we could just like trading places where she needs a breather for a position for a job,
We should do that.
like whatever the job is, like your spouse can tap in for a
But
month.
here's the thing: is I am technically trained to do your job.
Yes,
so
that's
we
what I mean.
should-
She
Yeah.
could literally
That
just
was
hop
so
in.
Funny.
That would be great.
You guys should do a segment where,
I take over Jon Jon
Yes.
with friends,
I've
Toria
literally-
with friends.
Yes.
But I just mean, well, yeah, that would be awesome content, and horrible.
Speak
But
for
I mean, like a
yourself.
job where your spouse, because I know this is a typical problem. It's got to be so common hearing about whoever's staying at home is dying with the children and needs to tap in to get out. And I see some real potential here where whatever the job is, I don't know, like our neighbors, they're like one's a finance guy, just let the wife hop right in there and audit somebody.
The good news is with him is like when I have my struggles, because I think like people glorify being a stay-at-home parent, but it actually is super hard because you don't have this, you don't have adult social interaction, and sometimes it's hard to get them all out of the house. You're just in your four walls all day long, cleaning up a mess all day long. And so he is really good about like, I don't care, spend the money on a babysitter, go get your nails done, go to the grocery store, book
That's
the babysitter.
amazing.
Like on the days where I'm losing my mind, I'll call him crying, and he's like,
Oh, and I feel for it because
book
I'm
the
just like,
babysitter. I don't care.
That's
You
awesome.
don't even have to go get your nails done. Just like go do something that you want to do.
I do feel like when you have younger kids, the time conception is like, okay, I just need to watch them for a couple of hours or, be there for a couple of hours with them alone. And then all of a sudden they do so many things at once.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, it's like a whole day, right? They've already took a bath. They
Oh,
already
yeah.
ate. They're already sleeping. They're already awake. Like, it's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
We're up at
hyperspeed.
6, and by 10 a.m. I think we've lived 4 lives.
yes, exactly right.
We've
That's
already
what we
dug
felt.
for worms. We've already taken a bath. We've already, like, there's so much that we've gotten done. And Natalie's like, good morning.
I know, and I'm over here like, I'm good with just me and my fiance for right now. We're
Good morning.
Good morning.
I know my sister. I'll call my sister like on a Sunday, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And it's like 12:30. She's like, "Oh, we're just taking another nap." And I'm like,
Oh man, there's a comedian that covers that too about like people that try to leave the house with kids and people that try to leave the house without kids. Just like, you want to leave? Sure, without kids. Here we go. Opens the door. Opens right. You want to leave? Ah, mommy, no, I'm not in here. Come here, you little bastard. Come here. It's the funniest thing. I forget what the comedian's name is in the UK, but it's so true. It's just like you, son, you can hear the music, not taking away from your life and all that you have going on. But
the difference is, though, now that I am a parent, like when you become a parent, Natalie, when my sister becomes a parent, I get it. I've been in the thick of it. So it just it opens your eyes to being like more helpful with your friends.
To piggy off this, I used to go to Tori's house, when I had a work from home job, and I would go over there midday and we would take naps. That's just what we would do.
When Elle would nap, we would nap.
When Elle would nap, we would nap. And now since Letty's here, I go over, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I brought like my pillow and blanket. Not really, I always use all their stuff. And I go over and I'm like, fireplace is on. Let's turn Shameless on so we can fall asleep. And then she's like, well, and then like Letty's there now, and I'm like, oh my god, we can't take naps anymore.
I know. Well, now
no
we
naps
can.
for Nat anymore.
I know. Now we can on Mondays or Wednesdays. Mondays when you're off because Elle's at school, and Letty does nap at a good time now.
So Mondays
But-
I'm not usually here. So I will, if you want to find me, I will be at Jon and Tori's napping on their
Truth.
couch.
Mondays are napping days.
Mondays are napping.
It's a Nat nap.
The Nat
It is
nap.
the
Yeah.
Nat
Yes.
nap.
Make
Yes.
that a T-shirt.
Yes.
Give me
Always,
credit.
always.
It's funny. My brother just had his second kid, but when he had his first kid, he would call me and be like, "Dude, I'm so sorry. Like I gave you shit back in the day for doing all the crazy stuff that you did with your kid, because now I totally understand." I'm like, yeah, you don't really know until you're living
Until
it.
you're in the thick of it. Yeah, it is crazy.
It's the truth.
How many children do you have, Randy?
I have two. I actually have a 16-year-old
Okay.
and a 5-year-old.
And a 5-year-old.
So
Okay.
a little bit of an age gap,
Yeah.
but
Brilliant. So 16-year-old watch the 5-year-old?
Yeah, well, we try to get him to. Yeah,
Okay.
we
Okay.
try
Yeah,
maybe
that's
not.
got to be
to.
tough for
Yeah.
16.
Yeah,
Yeah. We got too much going on.
100%.
Yeah, they're busier than you are.
Gosh, man.
So he says, but
Yeah.
and he's upstairs just chilling and sleeping. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
and then
hey,
you're like,
I'm pretty
actually,
sure you
take
can-"
advantage of it, I
Yeah,
guess.
right. He's getting his naps in.
Yeah.
So I want to ask. I always have the fun questions to ask. Randy always has the serious ones. You do always.
It's good.
have
It's
the
good
serious-
balance.
You
No,
gotta
no.
have both.
So okay, so a little story time. About maybe a few months ago, I was at my dermatologist appointment, and the person checking me in to go see my doctor was like, Toria and Jon Jon. And I was like, yes. Like, I have no idea who this woman was. I'm like, this is in Florence. And she was like, oh my God, I see you all the time on social media. I see them all the time. So you guys are like local celebrities, right? Where is the craziest place you've been recognized?
I don't know. I mean, there's been Kroger. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm talking in the mic. Kroger with like no makeup on pajamas, but that's probably not the craziest.
I've got a couple different ones. Well, drive-through.
Like a
I've
fast
been
food
to-
restaurant.
Yeah, like it was like a Taco Bell or something like that. I'm just
Did they
getting
notice the
crunch wraps.
voice?
Yes.
Wow.
I got up there and they were like, "Are you Jon Jon?" That's what I mean about like I always say if you want to be famous, or at least for long, if you want to be famous, the thing to not go into is radio. When it was all about the mic, but now there's cameras everywhere and we are all shooting video. I was at a resort in Cancun, but that
Are you seriously?
yeah, there was somebody there from Cincinnati, and it wasn't. They didn't walk up and go, "Hey, are you Jon Jon?" or anything like that.
Just
It was like
made the Cincinnati connection.
after we started talking, then they were like, "We thought that was Jon
Maybe
Jon.
that's
We thought that was you."
I there? Because I remember being somewhere where we were like out
Yes,
of town
you were
and we
there.
were recognized.
You were there, which was so weird. I mean, just the fact that happens all the time, though. I feel like every
It
time we go
is
somewhere, a
weird.
Cincinnati
Because
person.
I'm like, I am not a celebrity. I am not paid like a celebrity. I just maybe it's just like because my face is out there, my voice, but I am like, no, far from it. Far from it. I'm more like an Adam Sandler. When you catch me, it's like always in like the crazy times.
Okay, to be honest, we talk about this a lot on the show, and we talk about being relatable and how there's people that portray themselves, these influencers who sometimes they're just not relatable, and you can't relate to that. I mean, I'm gonna be 25, and I mean, there's people on the internet that are 25 and they're married with 3 kids and they live in this mansion. And I would tell Randy, I was like, the reason why people love you both is I think you're just so relatable and you're real. And that's why I think
I would agree with that.
I agree with that too.
I will toot my own
Thanks,
horn
Nat.
on that.
Yeah, of course.
Especially her on like, I mean, again, as far as like what we're putting out there, there's I mean, we both have our approaches to how we post the videos and curate and all that stuff, but her and I have gone through a lot over the years, everything like what a typical marriage deals with, I think, and being in the spotlight too is, boy, does it mess with your head, especially mine.
I
dealt
actually
with
have
that.
found myself unfollowing a lot of those curated accounts because it's just not realistic. If health and wellness, like aesthetics of your home with your family, I've unfollowed a lot of them just for my mental health because it's just not reality. It's like,
no, right, I agree.
you can't tell me that you and your husband haven't went through hard times. Like, I will openly talk about John and I going to therapy, and it was the best thing that happened to us. I will tell you about my child's meltdown at a restaurant. You know, I'm like, because it's reality. That's what's happening. I'll tell you about how I gained weight and I was self-conscious about myself. You know, I'm like, it's just motherhood. Just adulting in life is hard. So when it's curated, it's like, come on, be realistic.
Right.
Yeah, they want to shine the light on all the good things and not on the bad things. And for some reason, I don't know if it's clickbait
That's
or
so
what,
true.
but people just go down the rabbit hole, and then the algorithm's like, oh, well, this thing and this thing and this thing, and it's like, this is all positive. Well, where's the negative? Because that's the life. That's reality.
I just actually sent John this, and I liked their message that was just like, go all in and take a risk on yourself. I was like, I really do like that message. However, like they bought a $4 million mansion or something to they leased it to get content because they knew that these companies would want the pretty aesthetic. And it's just like, that's just so, like, if you think about it, like, morally though, it's like so wrong. Like, that's what the companies are going for instead of like my home that is just like a builder grade house that has so much love and life in it. But you want the, Calcutta marble and all this stuff that's really unrealistic for most of us.
So it just came out that there's a bunch of influencers that would take these pictures on private jets, right? And this private jet, it came out that this was just a set.
Yeah,
It was
staged.
like a fake plane. Yeah, staged. It was like a fake plane, and all these influencers would just go on this, look out the window like they're just flying to somewhere, and it's their private jet, and it's not. But I look up to you both a lot because you're very real, and you're very welcoming on all of your channels, and I think that people look for that. Like, John, somebody has a bad day and they turn on your channel and you make people laugh and smile.
Appreciate that, Nat.
Yeah, my sister, she just messaged me a couple weeks ago, and she texted me out of the blue and was just like, oh my gosh, John, and I forgot who the guest was, but I'm literally laughing so hard, and I had like such a bad day at work.
Oh, that means a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'll bring home the opposite of that.
Yeah,
And people don't know that.
I
I'll
don't
bring
get
her
that.
something where I'm like either down on myself or like,
And
'cause
my
you
thing,
become.
and what we've learned
So-
too through therapy is like, because we are the most comfortable with each other, he's gonna be his most vulnerable self
Yes.
in front of me. I'm gonna get the brunt of a lot of things.
Oh,
So it
yeah.
is like,
I
you have to
filled
have
up
a good partner.
I filled up everybody's cups throughout the day, and then I got nothing left to fill up the cup at home.
Well said.
By the way, there's a quote by Wesley Snipes as you guys were talking about the everybody just kind of putting out a facade or painting a picture that's not real. Wesley Snipes said, which I think it's hilarious that he said this, but nobody posts their failures. Keep going.
So true.
Doesn't that land so hard?
Well,
Because all of us.
What's funny about my account too is like,
She does.
I will post my messy house, but if I curate something to look nice for like content, I'll show you the behind the scenes, the counter, and I'm like, everything that was on the island is shoved over here. Or like, you guys have seen, I call it my Monica closet, which is my mud room. It does not matter how many times I've cleaned it. It's a mess. And I'm like, it just is what it is. It's like the shoes get there, the backpacks go there. Like, I'm like, it's just reality of having a house filled with kids.
Trying to bake a cake. We've
Oh
tried that
gosh,
before.
my
and
pancakes
yep.
this morning, a mess.
Hey, you said they tasted good. I saw the story. You said they tasted good. Who
They
cares?
tasted good, looked bad.
Like, who cares? Like, I'm working that in therapy right now. Just like, there's so many people looking on the outside, but it's just like, but who cares? Who literally cares? You're the one living your life. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
And
what
I
they
hope
think?
that I can instill that in our girls because it definitely is different times when they do start into school full time. I hope that they never compare and that Elle and Letty just stay the little wild, silly girls that they are. Yeah.
I mean, they're getting the real at home. So like, I don't doubt it at all. I think in fact, exposing them to this kind of stuff and staying in it. I've always said I wanted to stay in this and understand where things are trending for that very reason, because then for our kiddos, not to say that we're going to be, I hope we are, but BFFs with our friend or with our kids, and that they want to come to us about stuff because you're still their parent, but still understanding. Like, that's why I don't mind staying in radio and in iHeart and these things that are trending, and her being an influencer and stuff, because that keeps you up to date with what is happening. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, and so then we're not getting curveballs thrown at us by like, what is this trend that they're in or whatever that you got? It's like, oh yeah, we already know about that. And in fact, I heard about it. I talked about it on my show or whatever. That's proof beneficial.
You're staying ahead of it.
Trying to, yeah. Or just stay everything from like talks of AI and things like that. There's so many things that are trending, and I like to try to stay on top of it, because I know our girls are going to have stuff introduced to them. And I know so many parents are dealing with the same thing. It was like, how can I make sure I know where things are going?
And that's like our thing too in therapy. We talk about like, how are we going to like approach the girls with certain things, because they'll have questions, and I don't know. We just want to be real with that too. Like, I don't want to keep secrets and hide anything. I want to be realistic.
Oh, exactly right. I mean, all my dirt's out there. I think both of it. So they're going to see it. Yeah. They're going to see it.
Did you guys have any mentors growing up as far as where you guys are now, like, or how to get where you guys are now for the radio? Because you guys both have the same mind.
What's crazy was when I was in college, I was thinking I wanted to be like e-news reporting, which I still like lay up and love, like celebrity gossip and fashion and stuff. And I love.
I could totally see that.
Yeah, I love like Juliana Rancic, and my professor, she was just on e-news. I don't think she's there anymore. She got breast cancer and then kind of focused on her family. But I loved her, just like. She was just like nonchalant, would talk to celebrities, whatever. My professor was just like, she doesn't have talent. And then like looking back at it now, it was this old man that didn't have talent. I was like, you think that you're supposed to have a radio voice when you're not. You're supposed to just talk normal. You actually were the one living under a rock. She was the one that was more exposed.
Right.
And living in the times and stuff. And I was just like, okay. He kind of like tried to like dull my fire a little bit. And then I wound up going in a totally different direction. But I mean, sort of, kind of. I got on radio and we did like e-news stuff, but.
You ever heard that expression, those who can't do, teach?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, sorry, no, that's not true.
Just,
that is not true, sorry.
It was so discouraging and weird, but I loved her and her bubbly personality. And then I took that into radio, I think, because when I had my own show with my old partner on the air, like we did a lot of e-news stuff and silly breaks and just kind of made it carefree and fun. I don't know why, I just loved her when I was younger. And Joan Rivers too, and you probably don't know Joan Rivers. You probably do, with the fashion.
I do not.
God, she was so funny. What was her show called? Fashion.
Whatever the fashion thing was.
Oh, it was, and Juliana Rancic was on that show with her, breaking down celebrity outfits. And
was it Fashion Police?
Fashion Police. And they would
nice, Randy.
They would
hold up.
They would break
know
what
down. You were watching.
Right. Was it Fashion Police?
Was it Fashion Police?
I loved
weeknights at 8:00 on E. Whatever.
I loved it. Is that the one you're talking about?
I think it's.
No, I love it because Joan Rivers was a comedian, and I think that's kind of where I was just like, I want to be.
She was really
I
funny
want to be
too.
silly like that, just kind of carefree.
Yeah, but now it's like, again, it's morphed to that. I mean, we'd watch those personalities on TV and like, oh, that's the path that I want to go. Now, like TV, in a way, is having to adapt, somewhat crumbling, and now it's all influencers on your phone, and like you can become that right now. Go do it.
Yeah, you're right. I could on TikTok. People are reporting on celebrities all the time, getting blasting off.
Yeah, that's.
I don't really care about celebrities now. I don't know what I care about.
Yeah,
well, isn't that crazy though?
I don't
either.
You
don't actually have to be a celebrity to be famous, if you will. You
right.
know? Now it's like, oh,
different
that's an
branches.
Influence. Yeah, it's like, well, that's a completely different market.
Yeah,
they still make the same amount of money. I feel like,
right,
because they're known and they get the brand content or they get brand deals.
Yeah,
but I think that's crazy.
I think the internet has equalized everything.
Yeah,
the internet and social media has made this like. We can have as loud a voice as Brad Pitt right now if we wanted to, or whatever. Name your celebrity. If it goes viral, and then you got a bunch of content that goes viral before you know it. I mean, you guys know our local celebrities, OG State, that mailman.
Yeah, shout out the mailman.
Love
We're gonna get him
Larry
here
Scales.
for sure.
Yes,
oh,
he'd love it.
He'd love to do this.
But who inspired you?
I did have some mentors. Sorry, I forgot the original question. I did have some mentors in radio back at the former home. Actually, the best man at my wedding, Grover. Love him. Just that came into my life at that time where I was trying to learn that industry. Now I feel like I have different mentors because I'm adapting to what's happening. The craft has changed. So, that's I would say in the radio industry was that. He comes to mind more than anybody. She knows that. Super tight with him, and then it's pretty much it in terms of the radio career. And
I think it's kind of unique when you think about mentorship because, some people might go out looking for a mentor, but it's when you're like trying to find what you want to do or yourself that all of a sudden these people are like, oh, I see the potential in you. And they start shining that light of like,
very true,
which direction to go. And then a year or two later, you're like, wow, I guess you've been my mentor for the last 3 years.
Yeah, so true.
So,
yeah.
And I'd say now that, like, somebody was talking about Cincy Postpartum, there is a group locally called Cincy Postpartum, and they get together when you're freshly postpartum to help with babies and aftercare, all that stuff. When it's amazing. I never was a part of it, but I heard about it. And I was like, I kind of have my own little Cincy Postpartum in our cul-de-sac. So, like,
Gosh, she does.
not that I wouldn't even say they're mentors, but I was a first-time mom, and I was pregnant with one of my best friends. She was pregnant with her third. So it was like having these women to just go to. They were like unintentionally my mentors. And even now, it's like I'll call them crying or I'll call them excited. I'm like, they're just the go-to women in my life. I'm texting them all day long, like, for advice and sending them pictures of weird rashes on the kids. Like, can someone identify this? Like, it's just like a group of people.
Invaluable resource.
It takes a village.
I love that so much.
Mom Life community is such a community itself.
I feel like there needs to be dad life community.
There is. There's like in terms of, like influencers and stuff. I had actually a guy that was on Dad. It was called Dad Life. That's the account. And it's phenomenal. Like, well, I mean, if you mean like in our personal community,
like moms kind of have that. Because John, I would say, is dads can get a bad rep by like they're going golfing all day and they're gone out of the house.
There's a stigma with that.
There is a stigma, but not all dads are like that. I've got a dad. Speaking of John, a dad to my children that doesn't take time to himself. He's only out of the house to provide a foundation for our family. And I'm like trying to get him to like go golfing, where other wives are like trying to get their husbands in. So it's like, where is that dad life where it's like the group of guys that really don't have that separation from work or family?
That's a good point.
They can just make a group.
I feel like we would all say we're going golfing, but really we just go to work.
Dude,
That's him.
I'm so, I 100%.
Yeah.
He'd be
Or I would go there
he'd
to
be on his phone like,
I would go there to shoot content.
Yeah.
I would go there to like
Hold
just
on.
set up my phone and shoot a video or something like that. Be like, oh man, I got to feed the monster today. Yeah, I'm really bad about that. No doubt. I'm bad at saying no. And so she knows this. Like, I just can't stop. I don't know if it's an obsession, but I do love moving towards a goal. And I love being like staying driven. And that's why it's not always a draining obligation. It's like I really do enjoy pieces of
our therapist, I was telling her, I was like, he is always like, when this happens. And our therapist was like, but if you're driving from Las Vegas to LA, are you going to get there without stopping? And John's like, well, no, you'd probably have to get gas. She's like, exactly. You got to stop off and get gas sometimes.
I was like, I hate you for that.
And
That
I
was
was
so
like,
good.
such a great
So
metaphor.
good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am just like that to where I have a goal in mind, but then I have these milestones, but then the goal just kind of keeps on getting further and further and further away.
Yeah.
And you
So
just like
relatable.
never achieve it, but you're fine because you're still working towards something.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm so guilty. It's just it's tunnel vision. It's an obsession because there was an original goal. There's always a different goal that I've had, either for our family, for a show that we would have, or a content piece that we would come up with, or like a build out to branch into other investments and things like that, and other things that you can have your hands in. And then it's just that shiny new toy, like whatever it is. And but that does drive me. But to that point, I think I lost because I used to play sports. Like multiple sports growing up, and so I played drums, That's been sitting in mom and dad's basement for.
And he's still good at it.
You play drums?
Actually, you can keep that in your parents' basement.
That's why. So I have to rent it. I got to get a storage
you
container
can have a
to
hobby,
set up.
just not that one.
You guys need a drum set on the set here?
Hey,
Can I
yeah,
put that?
Yeah, I'll
put
write on
a-
the stage.
I'll
Bring
put
it
a
on the
kit.
set.
We'll
Yeah.
just leave it up there. It's still sitting there. It's a really nice kit.
You could do whatever you want. Just don't pick up those drums.
Right. I want him to have a hobby. It's just not that one. Let's do a different one.
So, do you guys have any advice for anyone that wants to get into your shoes or just kind of like go to the paths that you guys went?
You go.
Oh, God.
I know.
I
It's
know.
like,
I
because
was
I'm
like, you're gonna
panicked.
look at
I'm
me
like,
first. I knew you would.
here, I'll go.
Okay, I was going to say, I have something too. I'll go first. Ladies first. Always be authentic. Always be yourself.
Damn
that is
you.
That,
That's what I knew.
like when my professor said, put on your radio voice, I was like, wrong. Because then I sat in Grover's office, who was my old boss, and said, everything he taught you, don't do that. Because that's not you. And it's so true. If you're yourself, and some of it even like listening to people that are on air now, I'm like, they don't give you a glimpse into your life really. And not that you have to. I'm not saying you have to spill it all, but be realistic. Always be yourself. Don't change to fit the narrative for someone. Just staying authentic is going to take you. And if somebody doesn't like that version, and that's what I had a job interview, and it was over Skype or whatever. It was just for an administrative role. And I said, when I ended the call, I was just like, what are the next steps? And they were like, oh, you'll have an in-person interview with who would be your boss. And I was like, oh, great. I won't wear house slippers to that one then. And I thought it was hysterical, but I'm like, I didn't get the job. And I'm like, realistically,
She
I'm
don't give a
like,
shit.
you know what?
She's like,
Screw them. If they
It's
don't
awesome.
want me because I have
Exactly.
personality, then I don't think that was the reason. I was very underqualified. But I'm like, I'm always going to be myself, and somebody will appreciate it. And if they don't, then it wasn't for me.
I look up to you, Tor, so much.
I don't know how.
I do. I look up to you a lot. I've obviously gotten very close with you. You are like a big sister role to me.
That's so sweet.
And so I really do look up to everything you do. And I think that a lot of people do. I think you may not
I
realize
agree with that.
it.
I agree
think
with
a lot
that.
of people look up to you, and you have the following you do because you are a safe spot. In a
That's
safe
so sweet.
place.
I like to, and that's what I always say to John. I said, I want my girls to always be like, I'm their safe space. So they can come to me for anything and everything.
Yeah.
Because I am here, arms wide open, no judgment. Like,
You're their mentor.
I hope so.
Well, they're not going to go to her. They're going to go to me. That's the goal.
They're going to go to him to like complain about me. They'll be like, Mom's holding seances again to talk to our dead dog.
To talk to the dead dog.
She really did. They really
I
did.
said,
It
I
was
was
awesome.
like, it'll be funny, like when Elle goes to college, like, and she's making friends, and all these girls will be like, oh my gosh, my mom does this, and she's so like blah blah blah, curated and fun, and then Elle will be like, well, my mom holds seances to talk to our dog that died 15 years ago.
So good.
I'm just like upstairs with a Ouija board.
Beanie, we love and miss you.
It always comes back to Bean.
Gosh. I don't, man, just ditto what she just said, everything, because that's,
Copy
she
and
nailed
paste.
it with the authenticity thing. Even though, so I'll branch off that just a bit. Whatever you define as authenticity too, though. So Toria she narrates her in the content that she puts out there, and I'm going back to the stuff that we produce. She narrates her own life, and it's all real. It's all, that is, what you see is what you get with her. The videos and things that I make is me being authentic, even if it is me wearing costumes, wearing an elf suit or things like that. There's a reason why those, I know, land or get hits or people gravitate to those versus if I try to do what she did, I'm forcing it. It's not I don't like approaching it from a content standpoint or how I'm trying to get my voice out there or my story out there. My story, I think it was Will Ferrell that said that he's more comfortable in character than he is.
That's totally you.
And I love being in character because it's my outlet. It's like the Jon Jon thing being a heightened version of it. It's still me. It's not me bullshitting. It's really me. So that's even the pieces of content that whether it is the elf stuff or a leprechaun suit or everyone's like, God, man, we do have a costume closet. It's legit. Last night I put on a sparkle jacket.
He wore a cup in his elf costume, and Elle poked it at the zoo and goes, Daddy, why do you have a vagina?
Yeah. So then we had that
So
discussion.
it's just like a normal thing in our house. Our costume bin, our costumes in general.
Like Dad's, his
She
business is
flicked it.
covered. It's not.
You gotta be kidding me.
What's funny
It's
is
like a day in the life with our children.
No. What happened when I got my vasectomy? Didn't she say that after I had my vasectomy?
She drew a picture the day that he got his vasectomy. and
That's what it was.
It was a dad, and she had drawn a vagina on it. I sent you the picture.
You did.
And I go,
You
Elle,
did.
I was
You
like,
did.
Elle, what is that?
This
right
is
there?
the day that you give us this picture?
No,
This is what
I go,
you.
Elle, what is that right there? And she goes, oh, it's his vagina. And I was like, okay. And then, because we're very body positive in our house, we're like, okay. And then he gets home and he goes, who's this a picture of? And she goes, Daddy. And I was like, and he goes, well, that's very fitting
It's
for
like,
today.
this is when you do this.
'Cause he
This
just got
is
his
the day.
vasectomy.
This is the universe laughing at us. We're open-minded family for everything.
Oh my God, it was hysterical.
That is
I
amazing.
kept that picture. I was like, we're keeping this one. We're going to look back at that and laugh.
I'll get a
Good.
tattoo of it. I need a cover up anyway on this one.
That's hilarious.
One of my last questions I personally have is, so radio and just talking and being in your guys' characters and stuff is in your element. What would you say would be out of your guys' element?
Like what makes me like nervous or like...
What is something that you...
Mine's easy. Like controversy. I hate.
Oh, yeah.
I would rather be. I'm Switzerland. I want to be the guy that you're talking to escape that stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it's politics, I hate talking about that shit. I have my own thoughts and feelings, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't, under certain circumstances, voice them. But I feel confident that it takes a lot for me to go off on something like that. Or, if I could, I would love for everybody to just. It's like, man, let's all hang out, let's relax, let's create an escape, a fun environment, positive, making lemonade, not about controversy. And I know certain things take conflict and take voices to get things done and move things forward. But I'd rather be the guy in the elf suit. I'd rather be the guy trying to. It makes me think of. There were riots years ago. I can't remember what it was in regard to, and I'm not going to center that, but I do remember at these riots, there was a guy that had, this was in, it wasn't here in Cincinnati. I'm not going to say what city it was. There was a guy that had a boombox and was playing Michael Jackson music and was moonwalking in front of these riots, and everybody stopped. And I was just like, that's incredible. Where it makes you stop and go, like, what
Just
in God's
kind of
name,
takes your mind
what are we
off of it for a
fighting
second.
about? What in the world is, I mean, somebody to just give you perspective to go. And I just love that because it was a disruptor.
Yeah.
Like,
If I see you in an elf outfit, I'm not going to just be like, hey, let's talk politics.
I'm the opposite of him. I'm not that I don't like confrontation, but I have the uncomfortable conversations. Not necessarily about politics, but like boundaries within families. I will be the one that opens up the table to talk about things, which we've had to do before, because I'm just like, listen, we're grown adults, and we have our walls in our family, and we are gonna make the choices that we feel are right for our family. So I've had to have uncomfortable conversations. But for me, I don't know. This is not even on topic of that, and totally random, and people think it's crazy being that I was in radio, is I hate doing stage announcements.
Stage announcements?
Yes!
What do you
I
mean?
will,
Like-
okay.
meanwhile, she's awesome at them. And
When
it's like,
when I was in school, I loved public speaking. You put me on stage and I can talk about a topic, totally fine. But you put me on stage, like make stage announcements or like announcements, bring in a group, a band, whatever, I will forget my name. I will armpit sweat, my hands will sweat.
I
I'm
will
like,
forget who I am.
I will be like, I'm Natalie. And they'll be like, what? That's out of my element.
But I feel like that goes back to you guys just being your authentic self, right? If I hand you a script and say, read this, and all of a sudden it's like, well, hold on. I think it would just be better if I just say what's on my mind versus read this, because it has my name on here, but is that
like
who
that.
I am?
Yeah.
You know?
People would be
Just-
like, people used to be like, hey, would you want to DJ something? And I'm like, if you wanted to go horribly wrong.
oh man, that would happen.
If
That
you
was
want
hilarious when
no
I would
one
do
to
weddings
show up,
or.
if you want this to be your first and last event, sure.
I'm trying to remember how many like have said, "Hey, can we book you and Tori?" I'm like, I mean, if you want her like carrying my mixer in,
Yeah,
sure.
I'm not gonna do anything. I will be the passenger princess on that. But it's crazy too because when I was working in radio, we had learned that the average listeners, they listen for 15 minutes, the average listener, but the average listening group per se, or however you would say it, could fill Paul Brown Stadium like 4 times. So it was like I could be live.
Wow.
And have that many people listening to me, but you put me on stage and I will forget my name, forget where I am, and cry.
So did they tell you that before you went on air, like just to let you know?
No, that was some random meeting that they were in that they like described it to us, and I was like, that's crazy to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I think once you get in your flow, you don't really think about that anymore. You just get like, I'm obviously the opposite of that. I love crowds and like, I actually
loves it.
I hate small gatherings if I had to go in a conference room of like 20, 30 people and talk to them versus talking to 5,000, 10,000, give me the 5,000, 10,000 any day.
He's so good at it. He'll make the whole stadium say "Hoo Day." Like, he's so good at it. Where I would be like, we're in the Bengals stadium, and I'd be like, "Go Reds!" Like, I would mess up. I'd mess up. I would mess up. It's
How
just
about
like,
them red legs?
How about them red legs?
they'd be like, "What? Birds chirp or crickets chirping?"
Yay, sports.
I'm right there with you, though. I don't do sports.
Yeah.
To be honest
It's
with
not
you.
that I don't do sports. I do drinking and mingling at sports events.
Yes, you did take me to my first tailgate.
Yes, and we drank and mingled.
We did, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, it was
Who
fun.
won that game?
Right.
I don't know.
Guess
Right,
what
well
happened?
said.
I went back to their house and napped on their couch.
You
during the
did.
game.
Full
You
circle.
did.
Full
Back to
circle.
nat naps.
Back to nat naps. Well, it's been real to have you guys here and letting the people know what you guys are all about. So I think this is a great way to kind of wind down the show.
Cincinnati's mom and dad.
Cincinnati's
I was so
mom
happy.
and dad.
I was happy to be asked to be on. It was fun.
It's been In Your Element podcast. I'm Randall Pink.
I'm Natalie Kaufman.
Toria and Jon Jon.
Can we eat?
Yes,
We had Element. Let's go
He
do
was
it.
excited
do
about
it.
that.
In my yellow.
I get my grind on and my mind strong, I'm working. I clock in when the night's long, so much time gone, but it's worth it. I'm locked in, keep the lights on, got my mind on my purpose. It's working, I flourish, I earned it. Can't tell me I don't deserve it, yeah.